In June of 2022, when Liverpool signed Darwin Nunez for a reported total fee of £85 million, a lot of Liverpool fans were extremely excited. Nunez was a player who did very, very well for Benfica in Portugal, and he was highly touted by a lot of big European clubs. So the fact that we were able to secure this deal seemed big for Liverpool. And now, a lot of fans, like myself, are kind of critical of Darwin since that. At the time I'm recording this, it's March of 2025, and Nunez's missed penalty in the Champions League round of 16 against PSG ultimately was a big part of us getting eliminated. And to say that he's had a topsy-turvy time with the club would be putting it lightly. I'll be real. Darwin is a player that I oftentimes... I go back and forth on how I feel with him, and you could see that reflected in a lot of my previous videos. In a lot of respects, I feel Darwin works hard for the club at times, and he's had several big moment goals for us. Some of the which, like Newcastle of last season, he scored 2 goals to get us 3 points when we were down to 10 men. Nottingham Forest last season, getting a header that ultimately won us a game at the death. And then even this season, he picked up a late-minute goal against Brentford, which was huge in us securing 3 points there. But if you were to look at his career with Liverpool Football Club in total, it's up and down. Sometimes the guy is firing on all cylinders, sometimes he is not. And I think the dynamics of Darwin Nunez has made him a very, very controversial figure amongst not only Liverpool fans, but world football fans in general. And I think when you evaluate the front three of Liverpool Football Club, how we're going to deal with Darwin moving forward is going to be a big factor in how we proceed for the next season. Now look, at the time I'm recording this, there's been no news of a new deal signed with Mohamed Salah, and we can't guarantee that he'll be at Liverpool next season. Unfortunately, I think it's ridiculous, but if we're not going to bring him back, we need to make adjustments in the front three to adapt to the output that Salah has had for the club over the past couple of seasons. Now look at the total players that would be in that front three. You have Darwin Nunez, a perfect example of a up and down, inconsistent player. Sometimes he's great, sometimes he's not. I think if you're looking at Darwin unbiased, you could actually say that if he is able to reach his highest potential, I think his ceiling is higher than most of the other players that could play in that front three. Like if you were to look at him comparatively to Jota, right? Jota has great output, but Jota gets hurt every single season, and we cannot guarantee him for 38 games in the Premier League and even games in the Carabao Cup, FA Cup, Champions League. We can't count on Jota remaining fit. He's been at the club for several years now, and unfortunately, when Jota's playing, he's doing fantastic, we cannot guarantee he's going to play all the time. Darwin, on the other hand, usually is fit. It's pretty rare that Darwin picks up several injuries that puts him out for months at a time. On the other side of the wing, we're kind of in a little bit of a debacle. Cody Gakpo and Luis Diaz. I think Luis Diaz is the obvious starter there, but unfortunately, while I think Diaz is a great player, he doesn't have the output that Mohamed Salah has. He's someone who can create goals, but he's not going to get the levels of goals and assists that Mohamed Salah has. Cody Gakpo, on the other hand, we were playing Gakpo as a center forward, and it clearly didn't work out. It's quite obvious at this point he is best off of the left, and unfortunately, he's competing with Luis Diaz. So we're in a situation where we need a center forward and a potential right wing replacement for Salah, and we have 2 left wingers who are pretty strict at playing at left wing, and we're in a conundrum. There's no way you can tell me we're not in a conundrum when it comes to our front three at Liverpool. Like, I don't know what to do with Darwin Nunez at this point, because I could see Darwin Nunez being a player that develops to someone who's scoring 20 goals a season for Liverpool in the Premier League. Like, and a lot of people might disagree with me on that, but when he's playing well, he's doing well. And the other unfortunate reality with Darwin is I do not know how he feels at Liverpool. I think he's kind of all over the place with how he feels his stay is at Liverpool and if he wants to leave. I've seen at certain times him, praising the fans. Obviously, he's like touching the badge, happy to play for Liverpool. And then at other times, like last season, he went through a run of dodgy form, deleted all of the pictures of Liverpool off of his Instagram. It was just weird. Like, he just does weird stuff sometimes that I just don't understand. But I don't know currently how much money we could get for Darwin Nunez. I've heard reports of Saudi Arabia offering like somewhere around like the 60 million pound range for Nunez. And at that point, if you're Liverpool, do you look at it and go, 60 million pounds, we'll get rid of Darwin. He's not going to hurt us in the Premier League or Europe. Like, is that worth it? And then on the flip side of things, the biggest issue that I have with getting rid of Nunez at this point is the amount of available talent at center forward in world football right now. I don't care what anyone says, it's a drought of good center forwards. If you were to look at just in the Prem, some of the center forwards that people, it's really just Isak that people are looking at this point. Everyone is in the running for Alexander Isak, and I'm seeing reports that Newcastle want no less than 150 million pounds for him. So it begs the question of, are we going to keep Darwin? Are we going to sell Darwin? Because if we keep him, there's a chance that he continues on dodgy form. And it's just like, why did we keep this guy around for another season? I think Slot, he's voiced some frustration with Nunez, but in terms of like how hard he works. But when Darwin plays well and works hard, Slot has also said that Nunez has panned out quite well in particular games. I think Arne Slot is just kind of the type of manager who's just going to call it as he sees it. Like, if you're not trying as hard as I want you to, I'm going to call you out on it. But then if you try as hard as I want you to, I'm going to praise you in the media. A little bit different than Jurgen Klopp in that respect. But I don't know. I think when it comes down to Darwin, right, if we were just to go all in on Alexander Isak, which is not the craziest thing in the world, because we haven't signed Salah, Van Dijk. Like, I would not be that surprised if Liverpool are just going to be like, we're going to take a risk here, load up, and try to get Isak. I don't know if that's the right move because the guy's injured all the time. But where does that leave Nunez if we were to go out and get a player like that? We would have to sell him. We can't keep Nunez, Jota, and then bring in a player like Isak. I think we need a right winger. You can't tell me Chiesa is going to be great at right wing. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. What do you feel about the current state of Darwin Nunez? Is it a player that you'd like to see stay at Liverpool? Is it a player that you want to see get transferred and maybe we can recoup some of the money that we spent on him? I don't know. I'm all over the place with it. I got to be honest. I think where Darwin is in the club is dependent on what Liverpool has planned for the future. And depending on what those plans are how I feel about whether we should keep him or not. And unfortunately, the club is not even really like letting the fans know what the plans are. So get your comments in down below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Click that notification bell as well so you know every time I make a new video. I'm currently on track to 1,000 subscribers. So any report or any support I get from you guys, I really, really appreciate it. Thank you all so much. I will see you guys on the next video. Peace.